Happy.
Nothing like coming into a webinar.
Hi, happy long sausage, everyone. There she is. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Impeccable timing. Well, welcome everyone to me and Lyndsay's second edition of First Friday series. This is our official first Friday.
Yay!
So excited.
So if you guys have been following along, we created the Sell Me Your Story workshop, and we created this for job seekers and people that really needed to articulately talk about themselves. But with each First Friday, we have a theme. And this would be, we had to do something with gratitude and thanks because it's November. So stay tuned. Let's watch. Here we go. We're going to take you through gratitude in our lens of Sell Me Your Story. And Ash, why don't you kick it off?
Yeah, we're so excited. By the way, our first episode of this, and we're going to be running this for at least 6 months. It might be something that we do longer, but at least getting you through, job search and enhancing and elevating your career through Q4 of this year into Q1 of next year. Our first one, we had 130 people watch. Super grateful. We heard really great things about it, and we're just so excited to be doing this. So this month, again, just following up on what Lyndsay said, we're going to be focusing on gratitude and the importance of building gratitude into strengthening your professional network. So a few of the things that we're going to go over are, we're going to talk a little bit more about the power of gratitude in networking, different strategies for incorporating it into your networking efforts. We're going to give some examples of how gratitude has strengthened professional relationships. A lot of people, as far as in the career coaching or career searching world, pass up what a big difference something like gratitude can make as far as incorporating that into your strategy. Yes, there's a strategy. So to help with that, we'll also have some challenges as examples to give to you that you could even, start implementing this month.
Yeah, and they're good. So just think about this. When we think about gratitude, this is a way to set yourself apart. Not only that, though, gratitude, you have to look at, I always say, if you're in a funk, if you're having a hard time, if you approach your life from a lens of gratitude, or you start giving back, it immediately shifts your focus and changes your mindset. It will get you out of that funk. But as soon as you start adopting this mindset of gratitude and acting on it, you're going to see a ripple effect of goodness in your life. And not just from an internal feelings, but from a professional network perspective, from a relationships perspective. I mean, Ash and I are living proof. We found each other on LinkedIn through networking, through gratitude. We are each other's #1 fans. And I think people see that, and it's, I think it's infectious. And we're not saying the world is this big kumbaya and everybody needs to be all roses and sunshine all the time. We know it's not possible, but life is hard, and we've got to change our focus and adopt a mindset of gratitude, or we will all be sad sacks crying in a corner. So
yeah. And something that Lyndsay and I do, not only in our Sell Me Your Story workshop, but in our individual coaching and consulting ventures, is we start with mindset. Because we've felt in the past the impacts of our previous leaders and team members and businesses that we've worked with, that they don't start with things like why and the right mindset. And so if you're new to listening to any of our webinars or our course or anything, really approach this session with an open mind and a willingness to adopt what we are sharing through this process. Because when you start with a really strong mindset and grateful or gratitude mentality, it makes a really big difference in terms of your networking toolkit, which is what we want to provide for you today.
Yeah. So, it looks like a Thanksgiving table. So, this is just kind of where our heads are at. We haven't brought out the Christmas decorations yet, but we're going to ease into that. And gratitude really does go beyond politeness. And when you, I'll tell you a little story that will illustrate this, which is just such a great story. So early on, when I was really doubling down on LinkedIn, I was doing a lot of coffee chats, and I still do a lot of those today. I think it's just such a powerful way of getting to know people mano a mano.
Yeah.
And I had this great chat with our friend Stephen Eng. And if you aren't connected to Stephen or following him, you are missing out. This guy
I love Stephen.
Total sunshine, great human. And we had our little chat, and I saw him typing. I was like, it seems kind of rude. He's typing, but whatever. Little did I know he was taking notes of our whole conversation, and he took a picture. If I knew I was going to take a picture, I would have made a better face. But the next day he did this post, and he said, some coffee chats are great, and then some just blow your mind and rock your world. And that's what I had with Lyndsay. This is what we talked about. Can't recommend you follow her enough. I didn't know he was going to do this. I was so blown away. I got like 100 new connections from that moment from him.
I love that.
I didn't ask him for it. He didn't tell me he was going to do it. It was unsolicited. It was deeply, deeply kind. But there are a sea of us out there that are constantly shouting out other people for the great work that they're doing. And that is how we amplify our networks. That is how we grow. And that's how we've met our partners. That's how we've met my publisher. That's how we've met a lot of friends and colleagues. And it really does matter. And I will just say this last bit, I talk a lot about heart-centered leadership, and the reasons why I do it is it drives results. Gratitude drives results. So yes, it makes you feel good, but it actually is part of our work strategy.
I love that. And it really does make an emotional impact on not only you and everyone around you. I mean, I talk about some pretty taboo topics on my individual LinkedIn and through my brand strategy. And I think that the biggest thing about people being open to the topics that I talk about is because I do express gratitude, and I express positivity in those experiences. And I express how much I've been helped by other individuals through these things that I talk about. And it's opened up so much just like welcoming arms in terms of my brand, because of how I feel and how I express things. And it's encouraged so many other people to do the same.
You've created a safe space. Your LinkedIn network is a safe space, and people that reach out to you see that immediately. And that's what gratitude does. So it's pretty amazing.
Love it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. I know you love this. I'll probably let you talk about this more.
No, I have a story. Go ahead.
And we did hit on this a couple weeks ago if you joined us for our first Friday webinar in the series. But we did hit on the power of thank you notes and emails, and how a lot of people think that this is an outdated practice, but it's really not. It's such a feel-good practice. And it's one of those things that, whether it's for a job, and of course we're talking about the job market in this webinar, but whether it's for a job or it's with a client or someone who said no to you, the power of saying thank you and expressing your gratitude for their time, maybe sharing something that you took away from the conversation. I learned something. My goal in every conversation that I have, one, I approach every conversation as an introduction call or a coffee chat, where it's just like two people getting to know each other and being best friends and sharing whatever comes about in the conversation. And so with that, my goal is to learn at least one new thing, not only about the other person, but about myself, something that they can teach me, what I'm going to take away from it. And following up with something like, thank you so much for your time today, for the interview, for your email, for our coffee chat. This is what I took away from the conversation. Giving that back to the receiving individual empowers them to want to share more. It empowers them to actually, it boosts their own confidence.
Well, it shows you listened.
And
there's no greater compliment than saying, I listened to you and this is what you taught me. That coffee chat has much more permanence once you've done that. It's such a great way to set yourself apart. And I can't tell you how many people miss this. If you didn't get the job, still send a thank you note. because you want to stay in their mind. You want to be that candidate that if the other candidate decides to go with another company at the last minute, you might be next in line because you sent that thank you note.
I totally agree with that. I mean, there's been a couple of interviews that I've had with the same organizations that every time I'm like, thanks for your honesty. I agree with you. And then we end up exploring other positions later on. There's a couple that I can think of right now off the top of my head that I've had multiple conversations with about different roles in their organization because of the follow-up, because of the gratitude, because of continuing those relationships. A no now does not mean no forever. It's just not now, right?
Okay. So, I mean, gosh, we have 100 stories on this one. So, the whole point of gratitude is to strengthen not the whole point of gratitude. One of the beautiful things of gratitude is that it strengthens your professional relationships. And, I told you the story about Stephen Ang, and Ash and I have literally hundreds of stories like that have changed our perspective, changed the way that we approach things, changed the way we use LinkedIn, changed the way we communicate. And I think, when you really take the time to let someone, just like Ashley said, let them know the impact that they made on you, it creates some permanence with that relationship. I mean, I've certainly had the coffee chats where I've hung up going, okay, I might never speak to that person again. And, they're pretty much gone from your brain. But the ones that have that follow up, or if I follow up and then it continues on, they stay in your circle. They stay in your top list of people that really, speak to your core. But it's up to you how much you want to do this. And I will just tell you from our own experience, our networks have grown exponentially from this practice. And I think I just hit 7,000 people today. Ash is way ahead of me, but I'll tell you, like, that was in a year and a half. And that is just, it's really powerful when you think about it.
It really is. And reciprocating, right?
Yeah.
It has even more of like a compound effect. Anyone that follows Lyndsay or I feel like we are definitely on this reciprocal train right now. And it's doing so much more than just saying like, oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. It's building. Thanks.
We appreciate everybody.
Gratitude for everyone. It's people in our network see that, right? So we usually talk about LinkedIn on these webinars in terms of how to improve your career opportunities. We do focus on LinkedIn, but when you think about LinkedIn, whether you're posting content or not, you do not, right, from content strategist over here and brand strategist, you do not need to be creating and posting content in order to expand your network and make an impact. A really big way that you can do it is through the comments or through the DMs. DMs, of course, are private, but when you do it through comments, your network and the other person's network sees that you did this, and it creates a ripple effect, because once someone else likes it, then it tells their network, oh, blah, 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 liked this comment on this person's post. And when you're continuing to like reciprocate the gratitude through posts, whether you're mentioned or not, it creates a really large ripple effect in your visibility. And it just, I don't know, it's one of those like really genuine feel good things where if Lyndsay comments on my post, and usually lately we do it at the same time and we're just like on each other's posts immediately. But if I see that Lyndsay has commented on one of my posts, one, she takes the time, and her and I talk all the time, but she takes the time too to not only tell me privately, but to tell me publicly that she's proud of me or what she appreciates about my post, because she knows that it'll make an impact on my attitude, on what I'm giving back, on the energy that it helps me throughout the day, on whatever it is that I'm doing. And other people can see that too. And I go and do the same for her. And it's this really great teamwork that we've got going on. And I do it with other people too, but it has strengthened our relationship, I feel like so much showing up for each other everywhere.
You know, speaking of LinkedIn hit 1 billion users today. 1 billion users. And there's never been a better time to do this, because let me give you an astounding stat. 140 job applications are submitted every second on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh.
So when you think about those numbers, how do you set yourself apart?
Oh my gosh.
You've got to show up. You've got to show up with the thank you notes, with the emails, with the interaction. And like Ash said, you don't have to be a content creator, but by you commenting on other people's stuff, and please don't write great post. We talked about this on the last First Friday. That is like the least helpful post, other than great exclamation point. Like that's just not helpful.
Woo.
But if you talk about what resonated, why this mattered to you, or even like write something about a story that happened that related to that post, it really sets you apart. It's a great way to stay top of mind with the hiring managers, with the recruiters, see where they're posting, comment on their stuff. It's really, really huge. And like Ash said, when someone takes the time to write why your post mattered to them, if you're out there creating content and nobody says anything, you kind of think you're like yelling into the void. But when someone actually takes the time to tell you why it resonated, it really does your heart good. It feels good. You're like, oh, I helped somebody. I made an impact. Yes. So it does matter.
Yeah. And just a side note, actually, like piggybacking off of that, if you've applied to some jobs, you've connected with hiring managers or recruiters within like your dream organizations that you've done your research and you've applied for, if you need more help as far as that goes, listen to our October webinar, where we teach you how to do that. But if you've gone and you've taken the time to connect with these hiring managers or individuals at the companies, or, you're really trying to build your network, if no one is responding to you, if you're creating content, go out and do it first. Mm-hmm. Go and support their content, support their job ads, right? Just support them, because they're going to see you show up for them. You're going to make them feel special. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, this person is really helping me because I've seen my visibility boost because they're commenting. They're adding like really great comments. They're, liking it. They're reposting or sharing my content. They're adding value to me where I need it. Maybe I should talk to this person. Mm-hmm. It creates a really big impact in your job search on the front end before you even have to talk to a hiring manager. There's a couple of things for this month that we want to challenge you to. So we're going, and you only have to pick one of these. Okay?
No, you can pick more than one.
You can definitely pick more than one. But if you're like an introvert or starting on LinkedIn the first time, or you're a little bit uncomfortable, one is fine. Stop it.
I'm less gentle. Pick more than one. Let's go. Let's show them.
So we've given you 4 things that, like examples of challenges you can take on this month in terms of expressing your gratitude, expanding your network. The first one, and Lyndsay and I talk about this all the time, write a LinkedIn recommendation, and not just like, oh, hey, pal, I'm going to write this for you, but do it unsolicited. Yeah. When someone opens up their LinkedIn, they're like, oh, someone wrote a recommendation for me. Oh my gosh, it was a past colleague or my previous boss from like 5 years ago, or it was a previous client, a peer. Vendor partners are often missed. I mean, I love my vendor partners, especially from like event planning and marketing and brand. I love them. It will make them feel so good to open up their LinkedIn and see a recommendation from someone who actually knows them, and they'll reach back out to you.
Well, not just that, they might even write you one in return. And
for sure.
So one of the things that I always teach in my LinkedIn class is my homework assignment is I ask people to go and write 3 recommendations, and unsolicited, people you've worked with, people you sincerely enjoyed, and write a heartfelt recommendation. That person's not expecting it. So when they get it, they're going to be delighted, but they're probably going to do return in kind, which is something you need. And oh, by the way, your recommendation should not be more than a year old. If you have like 10-year-old recommendations, that's great, but you need some new ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as that's concerned, I recommend I usually do mine every 6 months
Yeah,
to
that's
every
usually the rule of
quarter.
thumb. I'm being more gentle on this one, Ash.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's fine. Another thing that you can do, and there's definitely a few comments that I have here, but host an appreciation event. And okay, I get it. Believe it or not, I am actually an introvert. When it comes to teaching people things or expressing my thoughts on taboo topics, I am absolutely extroverted because the way that I look at it as it's not for me, it's for other people. So the tension's not on me necessarily. But in my real life, I am such a hermit. I am like a little mole rat in a dark hole after work. And that is me. So if I hear someone tell me, oh, go post, go do an appreciation event, I'm like, no way. But there's ways that you can do it where it can not only help to reconnect you with people who you might have not been in touch with for a while, but also introduce people within your network too. And that just ripple affects the gratitude. But holding a small event or a gathering for your professional network, it could be in person. And Lyndsay absolutely has something to say about that.
Yeah.
Or it could be virtual. You can set a Zoom meeting. If you are into LinkedIn, you don't want to be on video at all, and you're on LinkedIn, you're in creator mode, you can host an audio event. These are blowing up right now because LinkedIn consists primarily of introverts. And if you look at, okay, there's 1 billion users on LinkedIn, only 1% of people are actually creating content. All the rest of those are introverts. These audio events have really boosted people's confidence in networking and wanting to get in and talk about topics and start focusing on sharing their thought leadership or connecting and networking. That is something you can do. You don't have to put on makeup. You don't have to get out of bed. It could be the middle of the night. People are going to join. You could just go on and talk and have a chat with people, bring people together. That is a really, really good, easy way to host an event.
I think the part Ash wanted me to hit on was I saw someone do this the other day and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so great. There was, I think it was Caitlin Richards out in Colorado Springs. And
I love her.
She was saying, we don't have enough representation from Colorado Springs on LinkedIn. So who is here from Colorado Springs, and let's have a happy hour. And so she basically invited local people to come and meet and share a happy hour. And I think that's becoming a thing again because people want to be face to face, and the holidays are coming, and it's a reason to gather and appreciate each other. So don't think that there's not people around you. There probably are. And I know if I said let's do one in New England, we would probably get a nice turnout. So
oh my god,
we'll do it. We'll think about it.
That's amazing. You should I'm not announcing it yet, but I'm doing something very similar on a regular basis starting in the new year. It's getting planned now. We just secured a space this week, and it's definitely something that's needed, and that's why I wanted to do it too, is representation and lifting each other up and helping to connect. For me, it's women, right? It's helping to connect local women to other women where we can step on each other's platforms and help boost each other's careers and teach each other different things as far as amplifying your reach and your brand and your network. It is so needed. So there's so many different ways that you could do that. And you never know how that's going to impact your career.
Yeah. It's also a great way to test that you can sell your story, because I just did this. So yeah, it's really good to be in front of a lot of people who are very optimistic, happy to see you, and then you get to try out your story.
I love that.
Gratitude posts can come in many, many forms, and Ash is one of the best. In almost all of her posts, she shouts out people who are super influential and super helpful on her journey. And she is constantly lifting others up. I know I have done a number of posts before where I've said, connect with these people because they bring these things to the table. And if you need someone who's a resume writer, or if you need someone who's XYZ, check these people out. And first of all, the people that you're writing about probably don't know you're doing this. And then you are bringing your whole network to them, which is very, very cool. I make a practice of, any friend of Claire Davis is a friend of mine. And, I get shouted out with a lot of her people that I'm not connected to. And I love connecting with these people because she picks great people. So, I want to share my network with others. And that is just a great, great way of lifting others up. And, we talked about 1 billion people on LinkedIn. I think if you've been in any kind of work environment for a while, you have your built-in network of your colleagues just because it's a company you work for. But you worked with other people before them, or you went to college with them, or you are friends on Facebook or LinkedIn or Insta or someplace else. And it's a great way to connect with your neighbors. It's a great way to connect with, other school parents. And you'd be surprised what happens. I will tell you, when I was in sales at IBM, I used LinkedIn all the time when I wanted to get in front of a new client. And you're bringing your relationship to a different level that way. So it's a great way to get connected, stay connected. And if you haven't talked to someone in a while, it's a great way to just send them a note. Hey, I just want to remind you, you were a phenomenal boss, or I love you as my client, or an amazing business partner, whatever that is. Just letting them know that you were thinking about them. It's like sending that random text to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, and you're letting them know you were thinking about them. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. And, that was like going into this fourth point of connection rekindling. I mean, I am loving this trend that I see with some content creators on LinkedIn that, to get their point across about people like bad bosses, for example, they shout out really great bosses. And they take it to the opposite end of that subject. So instead of talking about a negative topic in a negative manner, they totally flip it. And they're like, if you want a great boss, then connect with someone like this person, follow their content. Like, how good does that feel if you're that person on the receiving end of, oh my gosh, I made an impact, and their brand is to talk about like, get rid of bad leadership. And here they are showcasing me as a great leader, and they're sharing my stuff and like my brand. And that's a really cool way to reconnect with someone and catch up on, okay, what have you been doing? How can I help you? Again, like, you never know what opportunities come out of just saying like, thank you, this is incredible, I love what you're doing. And it could be to a complete stranger. It could be to a total stranger making a gratitude post out of their mission, what they talked about, something that they taught you indirectly from something they said. There's a million different ways that you can approach this.
I'll tell you a very short story. There was someone who did a video post of, it was a guy who was getting his packages from UPS. And the people were chucking them on his front door like it was dodgeball. It was really bad. And he one after another. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to make the change. And he put out a cooler and some snacks. And he said, I bet you're having a really hard day. Help yourself. I hope this makes your day better. And all of a sudden, all the behavior changed. And everyone's gently putting the packages. Thank you so much. Taking the thing. It totally changed. And I said, someone else posted this video. I reposted it. I gave that person credit. And then I said, whoever this person is, I hope they are in a leadership role, because this was just brilliant. That post, first of all, that Carmen, who I wasn't connected to, who posted it, I don't know how many views it got from her, but from me, 79,000 views. Like, it was insane. It wasn't, I didn't create it. I just reshared it, but she got all the credit for it. So I don't know her, but I like the video. So it was very easy.
I love that. So according to me, which one of these are you going to choose to do this month?
According to me, which few are you going to do?
Do them all.
Right.
Do one each week.
Do them all.
But seriously, challenge yourself to incorporating this into your regular career brand strategy, into your LinkedIn strategy, into your life strategy. I mean,
Ash is being like very, like I said, she's being very gentle and very sweet about this. We do all 4 of these every day. So this is not like hard stuff, guys. This is just what you just have to build it into your repertoire of thinking. And it's totally doable. We're not asking you to climb a mountain here. So.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, if you want the baseline, like foundations for building your career brand, elevating your career, you can apply it to your business as well. You need to get our Sell Me Your Story workshop course. And we talk about 9 mistakes to avoid on your LinkedIn profile. We help you define your power statement, create your personal elevator pitch, how to like effectively communicate your value, including things like these gratitude steps, right? These monthly webinars are an extension of this course. It's just a continuation of what we teach in the course. And we're going to be here every single Friday. We believe in this so much that we have an insanely amazing spooky flash sale going on. We know it's not Halloween anymore, but
we're going to
decided to continue.
Just a few more days.
Yeah.
This was supposed to end. Was supposed to end tomorrow night. We extended it through the weekend. So this goes till November 5th at 11:59 p.m. This is the last time we're offering it at this price. So if this is something that piqued your interest, now would be the time to get it. Moving forward, we've added more content and beefed up the value. We've actually added in personal one-on-one time with Ash or me. So there is a whole lot more value coming in the future. But take advantage of this sale. We are so happy to share it with you and welcome you to our network and our family. We've helped an awful lot of job seekers with this workshop, and we've seen a lot get jobs from it, which is just that's the whole point of why we do this. So it's just really, really fun to be able to extend this to you at this price.
Yeah, it's been really, really rewarding. There's examples of it, you know, the things that you find inside of our workshop on your screen. And all of this content is going to be in the, you know, updated, beefed up version.
And it's digital. It's go at your own pace.
Digital. Yeah. Which are, you know, everything in the past hasn't been. We've done live launches, live courses. We really believe in the digital portion of it. We've actually, after this, we've created a hybrid version of it. So this is the last time you're going to get it for the $67 price. Mm-hmm. It is going up quite a bit because our content is it's becoming more sophisticated. Yep. And we're adding so many more bonuses and things into the new version. This is the last time we're going to sell this version of it. All you have to do is go to sellmeyourstoryworkshop.com/spooky sale. Get it for $67 before the sale ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
Go take advantage of it. And I won't say happy Halloween because that's over. Yeah. So now we'll say happy Thanksgiving. Happy Gratitude Month.
Yeah, go implement, and we'll be back on the first Friday of next month for another episode from our First Friday series.
Thanks, everybody.